Let's see how this goes. Let's see. Is this even starting? Okay, cool. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the best Japanese lesson in the galaxy live broadcast. I have an English channel, Japanese channel, and all the other channels on YouTube, but I rarely go live on this one. And I thought, hey, why not live stream here sometime too, right? I mean, we're in a situation where we can't find enough things to kill time with, right? So why not? I'm eating curry right now. We'll just randomly talk about the Japanese language because I don't have a script or anything. So let's do it. So, there's a fatty substance. Yuck. Curry in Japanese is kare. It's so different, right? I finally started watching your other channels. Thanks, bruh. No problem and welcome. Curry is pronounced kare in Japanese. It's pretty different. Now, keep in mind that there are a lot of Indian curry restaurants in Japan. However, most of them, I heard, the restaurants are owned by people from Nepal. So they're like Nepali curry restaurants, to be exact. Interesting. But if you go to like Indian curry restaurants, sometimes they write it like curry, so it sounds closer to the original thing. But kare or kare, yeah, you have to understand that in Japanese, like many times you elongate the vowel, like double vowels. What does that mean? Now, kare, if you write it, it's kare, so it's not kare, it's more kare and then e. It's a difficult concept to grasp for a lot of foreigners, but the difference is if you didn't elongate it, it's not what you're trying to say. It's not curry. Kare. It's not kare. Kare is a whole nother word. That means him or your boyfriend. Kare. But if you add another e at the end, it's going to be kare e. So this is important. Kare. You see? Kare. You elongate it. A lot of people don't realize this and they just say it's kare. Kare. Because, yeah, I know it's difficult to grasp, but once you get the hang of it, should be fine. I'm almost fluent in Japanese because I live there, but I still have stuff to learn, and you've been a really great help. Glad to hear that. Thank you. Why do I learn particles, but then Japanese people don't use them in conversation? Haha. Give me an example. Maybe I can explain. Give me an example. Sensei Joe, the best Japanese teacher in the galaxy, is here to help. While he munches down on kare. Indo kare. You don't say Indian kare, you say Indo. Indo kare. That's how you say India in Japan. Indo. Indo curry. It's really good, man. Good curry. This is actually my third time eating this curry in a row. Well, not in a row, but like 2 days straight. This is my third serving. Spinach curry with chicken tikka masala. Good stuff. And then kale. This is a separate thing though. Kale soup. This is an Indian style that I'm eating right now. It's cool because in Japan, especially in Tokyo, you can find almost any cuisine from around the world. Now, I don't know if they're authentic, but at least you can find something. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Ketsu taberu is so not like the right thing to say. I'm not talking about like, well, that's dirty, but you know, I'm talking about that's not how you explain ass eating. You know, English is very interesting when it comes to, you know, that kind of vocabs. You know, eating ass. I think I feel like it sounds weird in many languages. You don't say literally eat ass in Japanese. Now I'm pretty sure that Filthy Frank, I mean he can speak Japanese. He just wait. He's the one that made a video about it, right? I forgot. But yeah. I'm sure he's just doing that to mess around. Um because if you say okay, so taberu, that would like literally mean that you're eating ass. All right, so that's Japanese lesson in the Galaxy Live broadcast. Welcome, welcome. So is there a way to say it normally? Well, usually people don't do that. So, I mean, some people do, but it would be more along the lines of like licking an ass, you know, not eat. Yeah, in English you say it figuratively, but not even figuratively in Japanese. You just sound like a plain, like foreigner trying to speak Japanese, but like grammatically and yeah, just wrong. What about hypothetically? Okay, so like the only time that it makes sense is when you're actually literally gonna eat it like on a dish, you know? Why are we still talking about eating out? Can we like move on to like the next topic? It kind of sucks that it doesn't cross over. I want to so mondai nai and machigai nai, but it doesn't really work. What do you mean? Machigai nai and mondai nai, you want to know the difference? Yeah, it sounds similar, but they're two different, very different things. Mondai nai is no problem. Machigai nai is, um, well, I mean, literally speaking, it's not. That's not wrong. But like, it's more along the lines of for sure. You know, machigai nai means like for sure, and then mondai nai means no problem. Oh, you want to use these words, but you don't have the opportunity? Machigai nai is very easy to like use because you can use the word when you're trying to agree with someone. Like, for example, like you're talking to your friends, and then you agree with them. Like, oh, dude, like I don't know, kale is so good or something. I don't know. ケールめっちゃうまいよね. And then you can say like 間違いない. Like for sure. But you gotta watch when to use it, or more like you have to tone down on the frequency, because if you say that all the time, you're just gonna be that 間違いない dude. It's kind of like the phrase for sure. You know, if you say for sure all the time, you're just gonna be that for sure guy. And 間違いない is more, it's not like super formal, but it's a little more formal than like the super casual kind of thing that you would say. Just a tad bit. So I would use it when I really want to agree with something, like yes, like 間違いない for sure. But there are other ways in which you can use this word, like in different situations, different meaning even. So beware. That may be true, but isn't sugoi said very often as well? Yeah, sugoi is like wow, you know? It's more that feeling. Like sugoi, oh that's amazing, kind of like that. That's amazing, but more like way more casual than amazing. It almost has the same like nuance as wow, you know? I bring it up because I don't want to say sugoi all the time. You can simply say like, oh, like that's fine too. You can say like, oh really? Like, oh majide or majide or majika, or like. You know, what's really interesting and fun about Japanese is that there's no way that you can master the language just by memorizing your textbook. Same with any language, but I feel like Japanese has a lot of that, a lot of those words and phrases in which you just have to like understand the nuance. I'm very specific. So there is a difference between そうだよね and そうだね. そうだよね is like agreeing with the other person. So if someone says like, you know, eating ass is a weird phrase, then you could say そうだよね. Yeah, like, yeah, that's right. That's right. Eating ass is a weird phrase. The そうだね, you can. This is where insanity comes in with Japanese. This is like small difference. そうだよね is more like agreeing more with a person, like, you know? But そうだね is a little farther away. Like you're still agreeing, but it's like, right. That's the difference. Like, for example, in English, it would be like, そうだね would be like, oh yeah, eating ass is weird. It's like, right. But そうだよね would be more like, yeah, that's right. You know, like that difference. It's more like, yeah, I understand. That's true, right? You know, it's like, I know, right, kind of feeling. That I know, right sounds way more like you're agreeing with that person than saying right. Get it? So that's the difference. You won't see manji in a textbook. Yeah, I think that like that phrase is gonna die sooner. Or has it already died out? Yeah, each word has hidden meaning. Yeah, that's the point I try to make every time I talk about how Japanese, to me personally, I feel like is one of the most difficult languages to learn. It's all right, if you guys disagree, it's fine. I mean, although I've touched on quite a few languages, I mean, it doesn't mean I'm fluent in all these, but I just feel like I don't see too many other languages having that kind of small difference. Like, how do I say it? Like, you add one letter, one alphabet, and it just totally gives off a different feeling. And it's not even like translatable many times. It's just like that feeling that you have to understand. And basically the whole language is based on that. And there's a lot of hidden meanings that you just have to feel. It's not so straightforward like in like English. That's what makes it so interesting to learn both, Japanese and English, because it's so different. Because English is pretty straightforward, it's like boom. But Japanese, if you want to say something and you want to be like polite and stuff, you just go around. And a different way of going around too. It's not even like UK English, where people like say things like, I don't know, but like in America it would be like, yeah, can I have a blanket? But like in UK English it would be like, would you possibly mind to spare a blanket for like blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. But it's not like that even, so it's a different thing. I feel like more guys use sodane and females don't use it as much. Not necessarily, but at the same time I see what you mean. Did you really learn Japanese just from anime and manga? Well, obviously, my, how to say, I'm a Japanese American, and that means that my heritage, right? Obviously, I mean, you can obviously see, like, I'm American, but also, like, by blood, there's definitely that Japanese thing going on, and why do I make it sound so like complicated? There's that Japanese thing going on. Like, what does that even mean? But here's the thing: if you're Japanese American, if you're born in the States, or it doesn't really matter if you're born like anywhere outside Japan, it's up to your personality whether to choose to pursue the Japanese language and culture, of course, or not. So a lot of people tend to misunderstand that just because your roots, is based in, like, let's say, like, you're by blood, you're Japanese or whatever, like, that's automatically going to make you fluent in speaking Japanese, or like understanding the culture, or feel the Japanese feel the Japanese feel, if you know what I mean. Reading the air. But for example, I know a lot of Japanese Americans who can't speak Japanese, or they can, but it's it's really rusty, or they just don't understand like the way in which people process in Japan or something like that. And then so what happened to me was that from a very young age, I was really interested in the Japanese culture. So I kept myself up to date with the culture. I mean, as much as I could, of course. Reading manga, watching anime. I mean, of course, like simple Japanese words. Of course I knew like arigato, and then like, oh, like gohan taberu and stuff like that. But to go beyond that is totally based on your motivation and whether you're willing to learn the language and culture on your own. I mean, unless your parents put you into Japanese school and stuff, but yeah. So anime and manga are my one of my biggest teachers. Two of my biggest teachers, I guess. I had a boss who was Japanese, and she was an older lady, but she didn't know any Japanese because she was raised in the States. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow, all the inspirational words. Really? Which part? Why is there like weird shit in this book? Do you think you use different facial muscles when you speak Japanese and English? Of course, definitely. I think that's the whole thing that makes a language sound different. What is omayo and oreva? That's not Japanese. I think you misheard something. Because oreva sounds like a Finnish last name. Almost. And omayo sounds like Cinco de Mayo or something, you know? But yeah, maybe it's something else though. It could be orewa. Yeah, maybe. Orewa means I am, but in a very guy-ish way. Sometimes rude depending on who you're talking to. Does talking a different language change your personality? I think so. But this is a strange thing. Like when people bring that up, it doesn't necessarily feel like my personality is changing. They're both me. You know? But from like from another person watching me, yeah, I can understand that it might seem like my personality is changing each time I switch between languages, but they're both still me. But it's, I don't know. It's I think they're both correct. The fact that my personality doesn't change, and it change like it's there is no right or wrong. It's a matter of how you see it. So it's really interesting. Okay, the ways to say I for females, that's not atashi or watashi or your own name. What, like, you want to know how girls refer to themselves? Here's another thing that's interesting. People ask me what's the difference between atashi and watashi. They're the same thing. Like, watashi is the proper way to say it. And because when you speak a language fluently, you tend to um, take shortcuts, you know, like when you're trying to pronounce something, like something instead of something, like that kind of thing. So watashi and atashi are the same thing. But it's just that watashi is more proper. Like that's actually the way you say it. Atashi sounds, it's just like, yeah, like I said, it's just that's how what it sounds like when you get used to it and just you're saying it quickly, kind of thing. Now there are other specific situations in which you would use atashi instead of watashi, but that's another story. So I'm not gonna go through that right now. What is the difference between I and koi? I is love, and koi is more like infatuation. Koi is like a shallower level of love. It gets heavier when it's I. You know, koi is more like, I think I like him. It's the difference between like and love, sort of, sort of. There are different situations in which you can use these words, so there is no like fixed explanation, but I think that's the best I can explain right now. How much kanji do you know? How did you go about learning them? Good question. Kanji. By reading a lot of mangas, that's how I can read many kanjis. I'm not saying that I can read every kanji, but enough so that I can survive. Um, what's crazy that a lot of people tend to overlook and underestimate is the power of reading Japanese manga. I mean, like, manga's Japanese, but what I'm trying to say is, like, manga in Japanese. Right? One of the best things you can do to teach yourself how to read and just, learn Japanese in general is to get, let's say it could be any manga. Like, okay, Naruto. Oh, cool. You get the version in which they're talking in your your native language, right? So if it's English, you get the English version of Volume 1. And then you get Volume 1 of the same manga, Naruto, in Japanese. And then you just go one by one and compare. Now, obviously, you need to learn how to read hiragana. But if you can read hiragana, I don't know about Naruto, but like many of these mangas have furigana. And furigana is basically right next to the kanji. It has hiragana. So it teaches you how to read these kanjis. So basically, that's how I learned how to read kanjis. Like, what an awesome way to learn how to read a kanji. Instead of how to say, spending time looking at your textbook, which is cool. I mean, that's cool. But if you're looking for some fun, why not get a few mangas, both in your native language and in Japanese, and that's how. And I think it'll be even better if you watch the same episodes in anime to learn how to pronounce these words. So if you can do this and keep yourself up and just keep on going with your motivation, I mean, of course you're going to start sounding a little bit like anime characters. And there are a lot of phrases and ways, like the things that characters in anime and manga say that you would never use in real life. But dude, like, you actually at least get educated in how to learn kanjis and how to pronounce these words. So I mean, it's a win-win situation. Where do you get those manga with hiragana? You just buy online or whatever, no? Like, I mean, it's not hard to do that these days, like in this time and age, right? Get the Japanese version from Japan or something. Like, you could do anything. Yeah, I bought a Hero Academia manga from Japan. I read it as much as I can. Thanks for the tip. Yeah, no problem. Do you think it's harder to learn a language like pronunciation in your perfect level when you get older after like 21, or it's just common notion to set a limitation? Well, yeah, I mean, like, obviously, like, if I don't know, like, if you technically compare, let's say, younger you and older you, and then who's gonna be better at learning, then maybe younger you is gonna be better. But that should never be an excuse to like, tell yourself, man, I'm old, so I can't, I shouldn't start learning, I shouldn't do this, like that, because that's bullcrap. Because I'm 34, but I'm still trying to learn new languages. And rather, this is the thing. When you're younger, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like the things that like your parents try to teach you, I mean, it's like generally speaking, like typically speaking, there are many things that you don't want to learn. Like, let's go to piano lessons. Like, I don't want to do it. Maybe you have the ability to absorb faster than if you were older, but you're not enjoying it, right? So what I'm saying is, if you get older and then you have more motivation to want to learn something that you otherwise wouldn't have wanted to when you were younger, like I feel like I basically believe that whoever's got the motivation is gonna win. It's not a win or lose kind of situation, but what I'm saying is I would choose to go with, like, regardless of how old I am. I would choose the time in which I would be most motivated to learn something, because I feel like that would allow me to absorb the things that I want to learn because I'm enjoying it, because it's my choice and I want to learn it. So in that sense, who knows? Maybe you absorb faster and way better than if you compared yourself to the younger you. See, so I really don't think that age matters for starting something new. No, not just learning a language, but with anything like starting. I mean, like learning how to play an instrument. It could be anything. I'll be going soon, so if you guys have any more questions, now's the time. So I'm gonna go do the dishes. Does age matter if you want to be a porn star? Well, like other than being an adult, you mean? Like being an adult and then like you're asking, does age matter? Well, that has nothing to do with this channel. So I'm not a porn star, so I don't know. I wonder what the pros would say. I mean, I don't think that any porn star would tell us, yeah, I mean, I'm old, so I don't, like, as long as they're porn stars, I think they're gonna be positive about it, but I don't know why I'm talking about this. Ways to say you or you are without using the person's name. Can I say omae atama ga ii or omae ninja? Like, I mean, first of all, omae like would piss off a lot of people, so you shouldn't say omae. Like, I don't even say omae to my guy friends. I just refer to them like with their names. So, I mean, yeah, like a lot of people actually refer to their friends as omae and stuff, but I just don't want to sound like that ass. I mean, it's just the thing that I have. This thing that I have, the thing that I believe in. It's just my set of rules, I guess. I just try not to say oh my to anyone. I mean, unless there are specific situations in which I want to use that word for some kind of effect, but but anyway, yeah. And my advice is, I mean, unless you're taking Japanese classes and like as your major, or you want to make that your job, I feel like you shouldn't really stress out about kanjis, like telling yourself, "Oh, I need to learn 5,000 kanji first to blah blah." Because I never saw it like that. It was just reading mangas, the end. So I mean, unless you're going to score high, on a test or something. Like, it shouldn't really pressure you. I've seen many girls saying boku. Is it a way for girls to act like boys? It's just an anime thing to exaggerate the boy side of a girl. Um, there are different reasons, like depending on the person. Like some people just think it's cool. Some people think like they're different from others and it's cool, like that kind of stuff. They just want to be different from others, kind of stuff. Like you're talking about real life, right? Or anime, because anime is a little different. Because a lot of things that don't happen in real life in Japan, you see in anime. But I mean, obviously, people are gonna think, this girl is a little different, right? Like obviously, if you're talking to an elder and you say boku, like, yeah, I feel like that person's gonna go like, what? But even between friends, it's a little, it's still a little odd. But there are girls who refer to them as ore. Yeah. But that too, I feel like is they want to be different, or they're a little too shy to refer to themselves as watashi because that sounds a little too girly or something. But it just depends on the person's way of just like seeing themselves. But yeah, one thing is that one thing's for sure, and that it's gonna make me feel like okay, so she's that kind of person, like different. I listen to radio talks and watch Seiyu events helps a lot. Yeah, like whatever that you're into, it should help. But like the common mistake that a lot of Japanese learners make is that they end up sounding like a douche, like rude. I mean, like there are a lot of people who can have a legit conversation with Japanese people, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna sound polite, or it doesn't mean that they're not gonna sound like douchebags, like, so you have to you should get that part fixed. I mean, ASAP if you have the opportunity. The difficult thing is that a lot of Japanese people won't point that out for you, because the very fact that you're actually speaking Japanese is impressive already, and they don't want to be mean. They don't want to say it straightforward, like, oh, that's wrong. They don't want to like they rather they want to encourage you, so they try to like understand as much as possible what you're trying to say, and then they're gonna go with the flow. But that should never keep you from like trying to try to better yourself with your Japanese skills. It should never make you satisfied or mistake that you're good at speaking the language, because it's a very, how do you say, politeness based language. So I mean, if you want to sound fluent, that is, if you want to be that like gaijin dude, it's fine. And by the way, this is, okay, like this is a very controversial word, but as I said in my other videos, gaijin is not a bad word. At least that's not how people, like, that is not a word in which people use to diss foreigners, it's just a shortened version of gaikokujin, but then, some movies that don't even have enough Japanese people casted, who can even speak Japanese, and they're using the word gaijin to make it sound like it's this evil word with so much stigma. And then, people are like, don't refer us as good. But dude, like no one's using that. It's not like a word. It's not like the word Jap, which was created to diss Japanese people during the war. There's a fat line between those two. It's really sad because a lot of people, even Japanese people, don't know that Jap is actually like a racial slur. But then, it's sad to see people say, like, it doesn't matter, I'm Japanese, but I don't care when people call me Jap. It's like, dude, but you have to understand what properly what each word, like how these words came about and stuff. Now, I'm not saying that there are no racists whatsoever in Japan. Like, there are assholes anywhere, and some people actually do use the word gaijin when they get pissed off at foreigners. But it's not. The word is not like used as, you know. The word is not. The word itself is not made to like attack people. I mean, I don't know about like 2,000 years ago or something, but I've never seen anyone use that word in a way that they mean to attack people. But this is a controversial topic, and of course I'm not like 100% knowledgeable about everything, but I'm telling you guys that a lot of times movies, Hollywood movies that don't even know the first thing about Japan, like over hype things in a bad way, and then people take that in the wrong direction. It's like, you shouldn't say this, ooh, like that kind of stuff. I'm just explaining this because this channel is for Japanese, for the Japanese language. I have no problem unless people talk behind your back like, "Oh, look at that guy thinking you don't speak Japanese." Yeah, like of course that's bullcrap. But like, I just think that in any country, like if you look different from the average um people walking down the street in that country, the same thing is gonna happen. I mean, like as an Asian person, I feel like it's the same. I think it's like in like we have a certain amount of people. Like there are always going to be certain percentage of people in any country with anything that's gonna you know make a big deal out of you looking different in their country or whatever. So yeah, I get teased for being Asian here in America. Yeah, so it's the same thing. But I don't mean to make this like edgy, but hey, it is the best Japanese lesson in the galaxy, and I step in a little bit to the realm in which maybe other people like I'm not saying that no I'm not saying that like absolutely no one ever talked about this, but okay, let's get a little edgy. It's not even edgy. It's just my personal experience, and I've never been anything other than like as far as my blood goes other than Asian, so I can't speak for non-Asian people, but um I I've never had a good experience I mean other than being like people knowing me from Naruto, and then people of course like they like the Japanese culture, of course, so that's why they welcome me with open arms and open mind. That's cool. But without this, I've never actually been to a country and been treated like positively because I was Asian, kind of thing. um and Like, I know it's annoying for a lot of people when they say, like, let's say you're a foreigner and then you go to Japan and then you like have blue eyes or blonde hair, like whatnot, and then people are like, "Whoa," and then you stand out, obviously. So then they, say hello or whatever, and then like you stand out, and people don't like that. It's like they're always like staring at me and stuff. But this is just my personal opinion. I know that this doesn't apply to everyone. It's just, let me just say that I feel like the probability, okay, if you see on average the probability of, let's say, Asians going to other countries, right? The ratio of Asians getting treated like positively, even if it's annoying, even if it's annoying. But like if you were to compare positive or negative, well, it would lean on the positive side. Like the ratio of Asians getting treated positively because they were Asian, and like let's say like Caucasians, getting treated like in a positive manner because they're Caucasian in other countries. I feel like the probability on average, okay, I'm not saying that everyone is, I feel like there's a way higher chance that if you're Caucasian, you'll get treated better. Like let's say if you're in Asia, obviously there are like racist assholes anywhere. I know, so that's why I'm saying not everyone, but I'm just saying the probability, because I don't really hear or have experienced as an Asian be like, oh, cool, like wow, your eyes, like your brown eyes are so beautiful. I feel like there are more cases where people would go, oh, your blue eyes are beautiful. Like I feel like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be. They don't have to be blue. But do you feel what I'm saying? I'm not coming down to any kind of conclusion. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Is it rude to say foreigner in English speaking countries? Well, I don't know. Like, so here's the thing that confuses me, because like people are offended by the word gaijin, but if you, let's say, go to the States and then they refer to you as an alien, right? Like they could refer to you as a foreigner or an alien. Like, wow, if that's not offensive, like if that's not offensive to aliens entering the country and their butt hurt with gaijin, it's like, gaijin just means outside person, and foreigner means exactly that, right? A foreign person. So like, well, people get referred to as aliens, so I don't get it. I also think that Japanese are a lot more likely to randomly compliment a white person on their hair, eyes, because they haven't seen a lot of white people. Yeah, I believe so. And I think it's a universal thing too. Like, I mean, of course, not every um white person has blue eyes or and whatnot, but like like the image that, wow, like blonde hair, blue eyes, wow, like that universal thing too. And of course, like I don't know, the yeah, I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I'm not trying to come down to any sort of conclusion. I'm just discussing the things that I feel and think with you guys. I think that's one of the awesome things that we can do here on the internet, live streaming. So like people talk about Japan being like racist and whatnot, but like I feel like there should be a distinction between like being racist, but there could be good racism, right? Because you get treated differently, and that could be a positive in a positive manner. But I feel like So there's racism and there's discrimination. And as a Japanese American who was born in the States, I feel like I experienced both of these things like intensely. Discrimination, like people throwing stuff at you and things. So like when people like okay, so like in Japan, most people are Japanese, right? Or just at least Asian. And then if you're gonna be if you're a non-Asian person walking down the street, because the probability, like the ratio is obviously 9 to 1 or something. I don't know, like the details, but like 9 to 1 or something. So people are going to look at you. You're going to stand out, but that could be the end of it. I mean, that might not be the end of it, but like if you compare to like the States, I guess things are getting better these days. But like when I was a kid, like you're an Asian, and then they just give you a hard time. Like, I mean, what hurts? What really hurt is the fact that I was born and raised here, but they didn't treat me like one. Like I was speaking English, but they weren't convinced. It's like chang chang chong and things. So I think that hurt more than if I were actually a visitor. If I were from Japan and was visiting the States, and then chang chang chong, oh shit, right? But still, okay, I'm a foreigner, but this sucks. But oh well. But then I was born and raised here, and it's like ching chang chong, and then like like people threw stuff at us, and then like my friend got hit with a soft drink in his face and like egged and all that stuff. So I mean, like having gone through that, like that, of course that's racism, but that's like discrimination and like even assault, right? So coming from the States, from my experience, when people complain about Japan is so racist, it's like, well, you guys are a bunch of pansies. But obviously, I'm not grouping everyone in that category. I'm very sure that there are assholes in Japan who, must have done some effed up stuff, to a lot of to foreigners. So I'm not like grouping them up 100%, but I'm just saying, it's like, like says the person from country where you know I think it's something that really stays in your mind and heart. Like it's just hard to let go of that past. It's like, really? Now we're getting PC? Like where were you guys when all the egging and breaking the mail post and like toilet papering the trees and all that went, huh? Like where were you guys? But yeah. So yeah, good racism and also racism. It's interesting. We should separate like good racism with bad racism and name them two different things. What language do you speak other than English and Japanese? Well, I took Mandarin Chinese as my major in college, and I taught myself how to speak Portuguese. I'm not fluent, but I can actually have a conversation with Brazilians, not with Portuguese people because their accent's really different, and I just fail when I'm talking to people from a country where Portuguese was invented. But yeah. It just sucks that in certain countries, they don't see you as a national of that country unless you look and speak like one. True, true, true. My Japanese friend told me, "Wow, you really suck at Japanese," when I was visiting Tokyo 2 years ago, and that's what motivated me to learn more words and be able to read and write kanji. Wow, that's a rare kind. Asshole, right? I'm Italian, and the stereotypes about us are close to low form of racism, but well, in the end, Italians do it better. Yeah, like, but I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm not Italian, so I can't really speak on your behalf. But what I think is that, like, I've never seen anyone who can't do the stereotypical Italian impression, right? I'm not saying that's the correct way, but I've never, like, everyone that I know, everyone that we can come across, like, they probably can do that stereotypical impression. And what that means is the effect, like how influential Italy is, and has been. Like, to a point that, of course, everybody knows Italy. Everybody knows what, it's about. And, I mean, they know unfortunately, the stereotype version of impression, but they know what to do, actually, when you ask them to do impression, whether it be correct or not. So I just feel like the influence is huge. Like, Italians influence, like, the world. So you go to any country and you can find an Italian restaurant. Now, is that authentic? I don't know. Maybe not. But in every country, you can, like, almost every country, you can find an Italian restaurant. So that's the impact that the country has. So, I mean, if you look at it positively, I think that's what it is. Worst thing I experienced was getting stared at and one time guy was following me. Creepy. It is 10:02 p.m. here. But yeah, anywhere you go, no matter what your ethnicity is, people are going to look at you like, what, if you don't look like them there. So people got to get a little smarter. Tell us your favorite Japanese band, Spitz. Hey Joe, wait, I'm your number one fan in Azerbaijan. Hey, merhaba. Is that how you say it? No. I can only speak a little bit of Turkish. I can't even speak Turkish, actually. But they're both very close, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get, like, I don't want to be saying things without knowing, because, usually when there's two countries and they're, like, side by side, and, like, I don't want to say, like, oh, you guys are like this, right? Because that might not be a good thing. I don't know. I don't know. Is it okay? But let me talk about Azerbaijan. So when I was in Japan, I went to Uniqlo. That's a famous, popular clothing brand in Japan. So I was checking out my, I don't know, underwear or something like that. And then I heard a beautiful language, and I've never heard it before. And I was like, I mean, I've been learning a few European languages. It sounds European, but actually it doesn't. But what could it be? I don't have the slightest clue what this language is. So it was like two foreigners, guys, just talking to each other. I could not hesitate. I could not, like, I had to ask. I had to ask them where they were from and what language they were speaking. So I went up to them. It's like, excuse me. They were like, what? What language? Like, which language are you speaking? Because it sounds really beautiful. They're like, we're from Azerbaijan. It's like, wow, that's a beautiful language. Such an awkward guy, right? But I had to know. And so that's That's when I thought, that's a beautiful language. It would be awesome if I could learn that. Unfortunately, like as much as I would like to learn at do you say like the Azeri language? There are way more Turkish tutorials on YouTube, and it's quite difficult and maybe even impossible for me to master the language by watching videos for, you know, um, the Azeri language. So, I mean, I love the Turkish language as well, you know. But, I mean, fundamentally, what made me go, oh, that's a beautiful language in Uniqlo was, yeah, people from Azerbaijan talking. So it's like, yeah, that was awesome. I really like the way the language sounds, and Turkish too. I mean, they're really similar, so I like it. I like them, should I say. It's pretty rare to talk to strangers in Japan. Yeah, yeah, because you would be deemed as a weird person. Azeri language is actually very close to Turkish because we come from same ethnic group. Okay, so let me test you out. Does this work? İkizlere takke. Do you hear that in Azerbaijan too, or is that only Turkish? Which language do you like the most? I can't choose. I feel like Brazilian Portuguese is the sexiest for girls. And then for guys, I think the Azeri language sounds nice. And then there are millions of other languages that I should learn. And I feel like every language has its beauty. And the more I learn about them, the more I start to realize how beautiful it is. So, I mean, I need more time to decide. 9 out of 10, it's a weird combo when a stranger talks to you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, although it would be cool if people could casually talk to you more, like in Japan, right? Oh, it's a Turkish thing, eh? Okay. Why do you like learning languages? To be honest, I like learning languages because I love my fans. I feel like that's the only reason, to be honest. How cool would it be to be able to speak your fans' language and then have conversations? Like, isn't that crazy? Don't you think? It started from me deciding to learn how to speak Portuguese because when I went to Brazil, I thought that people could speak English somewhat, you know? Like, if not fluent, then maybe just a little. And I was at an international airport in Brazil, Sao Paulo. I guess it's the biggest airport, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, I was there. I wanted an orange juice, so I went to this like open cafe kind of thing. There's a lady, the cashier lady. So I'm like, orange juice, please. One orange juice, please. And she did not understand what I was saying, and she got pissed, and she went to the back room, and she never came back. All I wanted was a friggin' orange juice, and that's when I started thinking, okay, something is up here. I feel like I should learn how to speak Portuguese, or they're not going to understand me. So that's the first impact. And then yeah, a lot of my fans can't, like my Brazilian fans can't speak English. I mean, some can, of course, obviously, but most of them can't. So I was like, huh, I should learn the language because like they are so supportive of my uh works. And then yeah, like I just wanted to connect more with my fans, and that's I think how it started. And then I realized, hey, like I want to learn every language from every country that I have my fans in. So without my fans, I wouldn't be learning this many languages. I mean, although I'm not fluent in like most of them. Try to read. Ora sono le 7 di mattina in Italia. I hope you're not making me say something naughty. A person speaks Russian. She automatically turns into an intelligent person. I love the sounds of tongue rolled. Krakozia. Я не понимаю русский. I don't know. That's the stereotype anyway, right? Hello. Hello. Welcome to my channel. We're going to do a crazy Russian hacker. Nah, it sounded a little bit different, but let's take this knife and let's try to open the can. Oh, shit. This spilled out. I cut my finger. Hey, Igor, Bogdan, come over here. Okay, I'll stop. Why is this channel slowly starting to turn into the best stereotypical Russian accent channel in the universe? How have you approached learning new languages? Google Translator, first of all, and then slowly try to apply it. And if I have friends in that country, that I would just, ask. Estou aprendendo muitas línguas ao mesmo tempo, mano. Onde está você? Estou na Califórnia, Los Angeles. Estou aprendendo português. Ainda estou aprendendo português. Mas não tenho muita oportunidade de praticar. Alright. Anyway, that was my Portuguese. Trying to read Portuguese in Russian accent. Estou aprendendo muitas línguas ao mesmo tempo. Okay, I'll stop. Do you not use an app like Duolingo? No, I don't use Duolingo. I mean, it would be nice, probably. You know what doesn't really work? It's like, okay, I'll teach you my language and you teach me Japanese. That doesn't really work. I mean, it could, it would, it should, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But yeah, it doesn't really, like, I don't know. I think it works better when I'm asking the person. I'm the only one asking when I'm the only one asking questions. It's like, how do you say this? Okay, thanks, bye. Because it would be twice the energy, double the energy that you would need to first of all like teach that person something, and then you ask, and then learn. Like that's just slowing the process. I feel like. No, what's cool is that Google Translate, if you're learning a European language, you're pretty much good to go. I mean, unless it's like Hungarian and stuff, which is insanely difficult. But if it's, like Latin, like Romance languages, Germanic languages, oh yeah. Like, although, of course, Google Translate is not 100%. Like it's still they're like European languages. So if you translate from English to Romance or Germanic languages and vice versa, it makes so much sense. Like instead of maybe going from English to Japanese or English to Tagalog or something. Yeah, of course the translation is going to be a bit off, but it's not like nearly as off as English to Japanese. This is gonna sound so weird. If you put something like, I don't know, like, oh, dude, like I woke up in the morning and I was like walking down the street and stuff, and I was like, yeah, like if you translated that sentence into Japanese, and like I'm gonna say this in English because obviously like some people don't understand Japanese, so that's fine. But I'm just gonna say it in English so that I can explain to you what it sounds like, how off the translations are sometimes when you change from English to Japanese, okay? So pretend that I'm speaking Japanese, but I'm just going to say it in English to express the offness, right? So if I put that sentence that I told you right now and then change to Japanese, it's going to be like, walking down the street and yes, I am chicken wings. Very nice tits. Yeah, something like that. Well, I'm going, you're still the best Japanese teacher in the world. See you. Thank you. Tell us how you started making music. Yeah, I actually made a video about that in Japanese. Maybe I should do that in English sometime, yeah. But I think I'm gonna go now because I need to wash the dishes. I am also shaking. All right. So talk to you guys later. I'm gonna leave this archive up later when I edit, after I edit it a little bit. So stay tuned. Come back to this channel, and I'm gonna make it so that you can watch this whole broadcast later. All right. It just takes a little bit of time for it to process. So I don't think the notification is gonna notify you guys. So if you guys want to watch this archive, this video, then just come back maybe, I don't know, tomorrow, whatever. All right. Your teacher, Joe Sensei. I just said Joe Sensei kind of teacher. Yeah. All right. Bye bye.